Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you again for joining me today, and me, my wife, and my daughter's forever world here in Vintage Story. What am I going to be showing you guys today?
All of my builds.
That's right, we're going to be showing off my 6-year-old daughter's builds here in this world. She has played a lot of Minecraft, and she has watched me and my wife play this game, and so we thought it'd be really cool to get her involved in it, and we put her in here, put her in creative, and I've never seen any of her builds before, and she actually did really good, having like no idea what any of these blocks are, like because Minecraft and Vintage Story are not exactly like a one-to-one copy. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what kind of stuff she built, and so every so often we let her get on. She builds things until she gets bored. I mean, she's a 6-year-old, and then she goes off and does something else. So ultimately, over the course of I don't know however many days, she has built quite a few builds, and so I thought it'd be interesting for me to do my case study approach, but do the things my daughter has built. And so I just thought that would be cool and interesting and maybe a little bit funny. And so we'll just go and show these off. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I do tend to ramble a lot, but this one hopefully will be a lot more entertaining because it is kind of tongue-in-cheek. But I am going to take this very seriously. She is quite creative. She's very artistic. And like for a 6-year-old, like have never played this game before. It's like she's been playing this game for hours and hours. She's been playing Minecraft, and so I'm pretty impressed with what she's put out, and I think you guys will be as well. If I can, I will try to make this as educational as possible, because I do kind of leak my giggity, like doctrine, my philosophy, my building style into these tours that I do. So hopefully there's something for you guys to take away from it. So first and foremost, Vana, thank you so much for making these buildings. They're very creative. I love looking at them and asking you questions about them, and I can't wait to show them off to everybody. So thank you again for your contribution to our world here, baby. You're awesome. All right, so the first one is something that she built over here next to where we're doing our survival playthrough and everything. So this is like if you were to be on the server, which we have some people joining the server and playing around with us, and you walk along our vast road system, you can come across this building. And I think I need to adjust my mic here. I'm not sure if I'm too loud or too quiet. Let me know down in the comments. That's some of the feedback that I need. So, like, as you're walking through here, you could very well come across this building as you're out here starving or freezing to death. And I think that's neat. And you can quite clearly tell she's a Minecrafter. Okay, like, quite clearly, she used the stairs for the roof. She just got the glass blocks in as the windows. She just has a chest sitting outside the door. And then out back is, she used the gems to decorate the blocks that she put out back to facilitate having a fridge because she wanted a working cellar in her building after we explained how cellars work to her. She never, like, put anything around it. She just decided to make it look like it has crystals on it, which is kind of cool. Maybe that's some kind of magical thing that keeps this specific part frozen or, colder. I think that'd be cool. Trying to add some lore and world building to the thing. Here, but really, it's just the mind of a child. She thinks the pink is pretty and the diamonds are pretty, or the crystals or what have you. And so she just put them there because, like, oh, I have all this empty space. I need to fill it. She understands, even like as a 6-year-old, that it's kind of wrong to have that empty space or that those blocks sticking out the back kind of look weird. And so she dressed it up. Is that how we as builders would dress it? No, but that's a very creative solution. She made it very pretty. She made it pretty. And that's kind of with her color choices here too. Is she picked the purple, and she didn't pick planks. She picked the debarked purple heart logs, and I guess that's because the texture is smoother and more uniform. Looks more like the purple wool or the concrete blocks that or maybe terracotta. I don't know. I haven't played Minecraft in a while. Whatever their solid color blocks are, she built with a lot of those, and so I guess this was the closest equivalent when she didn't find the creative blocks. And so she built it with this and put the windows in the side. It is uniform all the way around, which is not really a bad look. I mean, you yourself could probably pull this off, really. Just put some frames along the windows, like some sills and shutters, and then some beamage on the corners, and maybe instead of doing the stair roof, you did an actual redwood roof. But she comes from Minecraft, so she did the stair trick, which is something I talk about, like, this is not Minecraft. You can obviously do other things, and you'll see in some of her other buildings that she has progressed and learned more, and I think that's really cool that you can even go through and see that with a child just over the course of a couple of days of playing the game, and I think that's really neat. And like quite clearly she picked the redwood because it's pink as fuck, and so she picked a pink door and a pink ceiling, and then she actually used red clay blocks for the side, and this looked a lot better when there wasn't grass grown on it, but even with something on top, the grass develops. And then because it's wintertime, I don't know. Actually, no, I'm kind of confused because the stairs are on top of this and grass grew, but this one has a clay block on top of it on this gable, and it does not have grass. But for some reason, the topmost block bleh, has generated a grass layer, and so when it snows, it turns white, and you can quite clearly see that, and it doesn't look as good as it did when she first put the clay up there, because it being just the natural clay block that she took from creative mode, it's a unique texture. Like, you could use this to build with. I think it sucks that if you don't use, like, at the top block for some reason, I guess, always grows grass, unless you were to do this build in desert or something, maybe somewhere where grass doesn't grow. But the red daub on the side is actually kind of unique. If you built a house out of the clay block itself, I don't know, like, you wouldn't be able to take that anywhere. You'd have to find that and dig out your house unless you were to utilize creative mode yourself. But if you're a creative builder, like don't be afraid to not use all of the blocks available to you. You can kind of treat it like Minecraft, actually, in that respect, if you just, use the block. So that's a unique texture. Has some brown, has some red. You could probably use that in a cool gradient or something with some brickwork or other daubs. It's pretty unique. I like it. So, like, again, take what you can from it. And I planted all these trees around it just to give it some framing, because it was just kind of grass here. Why is it not letting me? It's not letting me not fly. I think my server's crashing, but we'll try to see if I can do this before it crashes. The outside is rather bare. I did put trees around here so that way it wasn't as bare and open, because there was no trees here, really. We had deforested it already. So putting trees back here just gave it a nice little path that you can walk all the way back to our road. And then you just come off this path, and you'd have no idea that you're going to run into a Minecraft house. What a pleasant surprise. She did grab the creative merchandise rack, shelf, bucket thing, whatever that is. I can't think of words. I'm bad with vocab, man. I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know the word to put on what I'm talking about. And then also we let her use some of my chiseled assets, so she got one of these leather benches. And I guess before I go inside, we have her coordinates here that she's allowed to TP herself over to this area and just go ham. Like, we're probably never going to go to these coordinates in the game, so she's just free to just do whatever she wants over there, and it doesn't conflict with the world building and aesthetic of what I have going on over here. So just a little nice separation of, like, a playground and then where we're doing, like, our survival stuff. So we have the adults table and then the kids table, and we're letting the kid keep a toy on the adults table is the way to look at it. Gotta love being a parent. Inside, as you can see, we're running into some of that dead air that I'm talking about. She quite clearly has not been watching my videos. I'm kidding. She did really good in here. I like what she did. She used the cabinet blocks. She understood that, like, oh, we need to have cabinets on the wall. She did that. She got my wife to help her with putting the sink in, but she knew that there needed to be a little kitchenette in her house. She needed that space. And then here's her fridge with the matching door. She got herself a very bright and pretty storage vessel because she likes bright colors. I think it's interesting that the block that was used is not some kind of bright block. I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe she just liked the way that color looked with the shelves, and then also this floor in here, I believe this is Capic, which is a yellowish color, which is kind of close to gold, and gold and purple are complementary colors. So this gold and purple, she naturally knew to put those together. Like, isn't that awesome? She's not colorblind. She's much better at that than me, and that's really cool that she did that. And then she got a rather grimy bed. I wish she had got one of the cleaner ones, but she picked a green one. She liked the green. The green with the purple looked good. I'm sure she picked that because her mom's favorite color is green. So, a little bit of, like, emotional inspiration behind some of the design choices that even she as a child makes. So there's all kinds of reasons that you can use to justify what you do in a build. And you can see here she also stole the range hood to put over top of the oven, and she put the campfire on it. And then I wish there was some beams or some logs or something going across with it like that. But maybe she likes the open air. Maybe she likes the breathability. Maybe this is for airflow. I can't, like, design and taste are completely subjective. So, like, I have a lot of criticisms that I say, like, oh, I do it this way. But that's not saying that you shouldn't do it your way. I have a thing where a big open ceiling looks wrong to me in some buildings. And in other buildings, like, it needs a big open ceiling. But when it comes to, like, your personal house or maybe some artistic institution, or maybe a museum or something where like the building itself is an art form. You don't necessarily need, like, maybe some of the trick in its structure is hiding the structure, hiding the joints, hiding the seams. Now that's kind of antithetical to how I prefer things aesthetically. I think there's a strong philosophical underlining to hiding screws from people and hiding everything behind seamless panels. I think there's a real problem with that culturally. But from an aesthetic, purely aesthetic point of view, the sleek, smooth, or open air, or natural, or grimy, or medieval, like those different, I don't know, gradients, spectrums, maybe, like those different corners of thought, different aesthetics that appeal to different people. They don't have to compete. One is not better than the other. There's not a hierarchy. Like, the customer is always right in matters of taste. Live and let live. So, do I necessarily like the way this is done? No, I want more stuff up here. But she did take the storage up. She is occupying dead air, dead space. She's got a piece of decoration up there. Even as a child, she knows that if it was too empty, it would have looked weird. So maybe even in her intent, not doing anything up here was maybe she was saving time. Maybe she didn't need that much storage. Or maybe she understood that, oh, wow, that's really busy. Oh, that's not so busy. And it's a nice balance, yin and yang. But that is this building. Really not much to do or talk about. Again, I'm trying to read more into it than what's actually there, but I did ask her several questions about each of these buildings before I started doing this recording. So there is something, I feel like, to be taken away from whatever points I've attempted to make here. But we're going to go ahead and teleport ourselves over to her playground area, and there's a few more different builds that I would like to go over and show off. You're very creative, honey. Very creative. I like all this stuff. You're doing so good. I'm very proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. Alright, and so we're over here I put her in the tropics. She likes the jungle, warm area. I knew she'd love it. Plus it is also far away from where we're at, so there's like no harm. There's nothing she can mess up. I can just set her over there in creative, and she can go crazy. And she went crazy. And she watches Minecraft videos, and she's watched some of my, like, not my vintage story, but some of the vintage story videos that me and my wife watch, because she's like, she'll be in the room with us while we're all chilling. And so one of the things she wanted to build was a dock. And so she built a little pier coming off from the dirt. Very simple, straight to the point. Doesn't have the boardwalk or anything, none of that other stuff. Just a simple pier jutting out into the water far enough that the boats can dock and not have to worry about their keel running aground. And she went ahead and put some supports underneath. And she went so far as to chisel part of it to try to make it more round. So she understands that because she can chisel. Oh, for some reason my creative is not working and now I'm stuck in the water. She understands that chiseling makes stuff rounder and you can change the shape of it. And so she knew that she wanted it to be more like a pillar. Did she chisel as much as she could? No, she didn't. But she's also a 6-year-old, and also, like, that's some fine, hand maneuvering work on a mouse to, like, chisel all that stuff. But she chiseled it, and I'm very proud of her. It looks really good. She made it rounder. She has some water-friendly supports that resist corrosion, made out of stone, holding up what is hopefully treated lumber that constitutes the actual pier floor, surface itself. And then she took bamboo, which is a locally sourced material around here, and she went ahead and, I believe these are actually Capic logs, which would be local to this area as well, and she framed up the fence out of bamboo, and she kept this end open so you could pull up on the dock. These sides are closed off so you can't fall off, and then she's even got the back end here closed off with the gate, so that way only people who are, given permission can enter. For some reason, my server hosting is not going very well. And I keep lagging, and I can't even get it created to fly right now. What if I hit F3? Nope, not even that's doing it. Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening. I'm having some technical difficulties. This is the dock, though. There's nothing else real close to it. I'll have to go over to the other builds. And also to mention, she's got, plenty of storage lined up this thing. Not very much variety to it, but quite efficient in its capacity, I will say. So let me go ahead and try to figure out what this problem is, and then we'll jump over to the other builds. We'll be right back. So yeah, I'm having some weird issues. I used the vintage hosting service, like the thing offered by Vintage Story by Tyron for their like smaller servers. Like I think I have like 12 people on here at a time or something, which is plenty. So I'm keep having this issue where it says like the server is overloaded or whatever, can't connect to the host, and so it keeps lagging everything. And that's where this world is on this server. That way, me and my wife can play together without it ever being an issue. Someone can get on, someone can be on while someone else is not on. And so I'm having some recording problems. So I apologize for the choppier nature of this, and it probably is going to end up being more edited because I have to stop and fix the thing and then come back and record. But maybe now I've permanently fixed it. We'll see what happens. But over here is just a little balcony that she has carved in the side of a mountain. You can come in here and mine, and then just stand out here at the precipice and look out over the estate, and you can kind of see some of her other buildings over there. And there's actually a building on the other side of that mountain right there we're going to talk about. But I saw this over here, so I thought I would talk about it. She picked red. She likes the bright colors. I don't think red's her favorite color. She says she likes all colors, but she's really a fan of pink. So maybe red is pink enough adjacent that, she liked it. Or maybe it was just what she liked at the time. Maybe the red looks really cool with the cooler blue of this granite right here. Maybe that's andesite. I think that's andesite. But anyway, you leave that, which I guess you could use actually to jump off into that water if you're fast enough. You come over here. This is one of her first builds over here in this area where she's messing around. Again, you can see she's still using these stairs for the roof piece. And then over here, instead of using a slab like she did at the other building, she used a full block. I think this is not aged ebony. This is some other kind of creative acquired plank block that looks like the ebony, which is probably why she picked it. And I bet she likes the way those lines are on it. I bet that's why she grabbed it. But it gives it a nice little height to the roof on a very tall building, which is mostly in order. You see she doesn't quite understand the block orientation, but I think if you were to do that intentionally throughout this build, even not doing any other beams or different blocks, if you were to just have that even as a whole pattern or as just a texture or maybe even some kind of gradient, some horizontalness mixed with some verticalness is a texture. Like that's noise. That's some kind of pattern that you can observe, and it will make this a little less boring. But she did pick a pink color. Again, she likes the pink wood. She got herself a little observation tower up here, and because she's constantly and creative, she did not see the need for a ladder. So it's not very accessible, but if you're over here in the same capacity that she is, it is still very navigable. Navigability is super important for all builds. As you can see, though, is to set up in a way that if you stop flying, you are safe, and if you go back to flying, you can easily get out. So easy traversability. Navigability is super important. She also did not want to be lonely over here, so she made sure to spawn plenty of traders to emphasize the importance of community and socializing and having people to share in the experience with. This area would be very lonely and isolated if she did not have these traders here to engage with. And so quite obviously she can engage obviously by trading, going through their dialogue prompts, and just hearing them, make the weird noises that they make. You see, it's like an orchestra. It's like you're playing music over here. And then you come in, and it looks like she has made a ceiling out of tables. So, okay. There's no real way to get up there. Unfortunate. That's not right. So maybe we'll do that. There. We just fixed a navigability issue. But what's neat about that is you quite clearly have a ceiling here, and then maybe this up there is supposed to be a future plan to maybe put a windmill up there. Maybe that's all going to be machinery. Maybe you're going to make this a clock tower, and this is just where people come in and walk and talk or whatever they're going to do in this building. She has a red acacia door because the red looks nice with the pink of the redwood, and then she also has this little water print over here where she's got the red glow blocks. So this looks really cool at night. And she likes having the water flowing out and going down here, and she likes watching the water cascade. So she's put it in several different places, and not all of those are naturally spawned. She loves putting down the water blocks. So I do think the game actually could benefit from having more like waterfalls and stuff, and more variety to the lakes or what the bottom of the lakes look like. And I really am excited for rivers. I know there's mods that add rivers to terrain generation. But if Tyrant and the boys can figure out rivers for the game, oh man, I'm excited for that. That's why I don't want to explore too much of this world, because this is supposed to be the forever world. So I'm trying to remain close to where I'm at right now. That way when they do add rivers, there's plenty of ungenerated chunks that I can travel to and hopefully get that new world generation. But we fly over here, you can see where she has attempted to spell out her name, Vana, in the red, but I believe she just got bored and decided to call it a day. She just didn't want to finish it. You can see she's deforested this area over here, and then has done, 3, 4, maybe 5 builds over here. Not a bad haul. Not a bad haul at all. I will go ahead and fly over here before we start showcasing these guys. Just wanted to show off her namesake over there real quick because it is very there. But she's also got this little tunnel over here that she's dug. And just like her mother, she likes having little secret tunnels to go through. Secret tunnel. But she intends this one to be for fishing. You fly over here, you go through the tunnel, and you come out the other side at water level. And you can just throw your rod, giggity, and fish to your heart's content. Ain't that nice? I thought that was very creative. And I guess to save time, you can really just fly back around. Because again, when she's over here, she's in creative. There's no need for her to have roads or ladders or any of that other stuff. She can just fly. So I think that's a really interesting thing to comment about infrastructure and pathing and stuff, is what kind of stuff is going to be moving here. Like if you're hauling heavy shit out of a hole, a ladder is not going to be good enough. If you're going to have ladders for people to move, then you're going to have a crane to move stuff vertically. If you're not going to have a crane, then you're going to have ramps or like wide staircases or some other kind of method of hauling heavy shit vertically. Getting stuff down, I guess some things can be tossed, but it is easier to get stuff down than up. But there's a lot of difficulties with moving heavy stuff, and so that's why people invented wagons and carts. But now your paths can't just be little footpaths through the woods. Now you got to have wider roads, maybe even put down timber planks to facilitate a smooth trip for the wagon on the wheel. Maybe you have to actually evolve into brick and then other, masonry methods to make your roads, to handle the weight and stuff of the wagons going across them. So like if you have horses, or in this case elks, that's going to require different architecture and structure and logistics networks, roads, I guess, more roads, different roads than what just a bunch of people on foot would need. And something with wheels is going to need an entirely different road and type of hill and bridges and all that than what just somebody on an elk will need. Now, there's no actual wagons in this game, but I built a lot of custom wagons, and so I have to make my roads at inclines and gradients and textures that imply to you like, oh yeah, a wagon could totally make this trip. If I make a bridge that's too small for a wagon to go across, you're gonna be able to see that. You'll notice it. At least anybody paying attention would. And motherfucker, do I pay attention? But over here are her builds. And so I think we'll start over here with the fountain. The fountain's really cool, really simple. I'm not sure where she got this design from, but it evokes very Minecraft to me. Obviously, you just have the stairs on all sides. She didn't do any kind of masonry or anything over here, so it's a very natural, organic look, very unobstructive, very non-invasive on the ecology here. You quite clearly still have the dirt and the grass and everything going on. But then she put I believe that is larch stairs. Maybe not large, maybe birch stairs on the top, and then just a water source coming out the top, and it just flows down into a classic Minecraft fountain. Very good work, honey. Excellent. I think this right here, honestly, is her best one. This is all her, man. Like, this is so good. She did a treehouse, which is just a trunk, which I think she used a debark trunk, or debark log, yeah. And then a ladder on the front of it, and then she took leaves, and spread it around to make it look like it was overgrown and was actually a tree. And she didn't cover it as much as she probably should have, but, she's a 6-year-old. She stopped where she felt like she could stop. It was good enough for her. She wanted to get back to what she was doing. And so it's a little difficult to get in here, but, like, she decorated it, man. Like, she's got the stove over here not being used as a stove. This is just maybe now this is an end table with some kind of rug thing on top of it. A counter, table cover, tablecloth, end tablecloth. A cloth on the table. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, a tablecloth. Fucking moron. Anyway, no window frames or even like a fence post in it, so very open air. Really does remind me of like a child's treehouse that like I had built for me and that I would want to eventually build for her. If I can find the right tree in the right time. God dang, I'm so busy all the time. It's hard, man. But she's got these cabinets over here with some books on it to show that she reads. She got a shield over here on top of it to show that she means business. And then she's got a trunk right here for storage. A little bit of navigability issue, but even if you're in flying mode, you can get over it. And if you're not in flying mode, you can jump over it. So not too big a hurdle. But the door, there's no doorway, or there's no door. There's a doorway, a door frame. There's no door in it, so you can kind of just walk out, and you're all good. She did have these plaster blocks around the top to make the roof interesting. She went all the way around with it. I thought that was a neat way to make the ceiling or roof separate from the rest of the structure. And you kind of see she doesn't, like she doesn't care about how she puts the wood blocks. Obviously, she's not paying attention to that. But if you were to do this the right way, you yourself could get away with this. Just make it a little less haphazard and make it seem a little more intentional. You don't have to do a pattern necessarily, but at a distance at least, having some horizontal with some vertical breaks up the cube a little bit. It doesn't seem so grid-like. You'd have to do some tricks and stuff with like clutter and chiseling to make it look better up front. But from far away, like on a big-ass wall or something to make a big wood tower for a castle, you could probably do some of that and even put some of the debarked log up in there for some flat texture and get a real nice noise palette, I guess. I'm not sure what you call it. I think in Minecraft they just keep calling them gradients, but you know what I'm talking about. And then we'll go ahead and go over here. This is one of the first ones she built over here after the treehouse. You can see she's still using the stair pieces, but then she actually had me chisel her some supports coming out, some beams to actually hold up the roof. She wanted that there to make it look like it was structural. And she has not seen any of my videos. She asked me to put that there. Same thing with this sun. She asked me to chisel that and put it on there. And symmetry's sake, went ahead and put it on the front and the back. This is where I first did it. So it's like the sun is shining over these animals. A little bit of Animal Farm logic going on there. Little Plato's Cave. But she likes how bright the glow and the light blocks are. So instead of using the regular creative color blocks, which she does use some of, she picks the creative glow blocks. So they're very bright and vibrant. So she has the gable, a completely different color than the rest of it. Even though the roof, which you can see she kind of have a pattern going on here with that. She's like, maybe she learned something. And then she even has a pattern. She's quite clearly learned where she's taking the horizontal and the vertical. And she had me help her with it, but she wanted to do that. And so she's got the debarked logs as her corners, and then planks the rest of it. You can see she's using the same color. It's all very monotonous in the color, and she's still using the stairs for roofs, but she's quite clearly understanding like symmetry and patterns and stuff as she's going through here and making this build. And I'm not sure what is going on with these text. Oh, that is really okay. She's got 2 double doors. That was looking really weird down there to me. But she likes the pink, so she's picked pink. So the whole thing's pink, but she made the gable a different color. I would say she's probably seen that somewhere and decided to copy it. Maybe even she saw me with one of my buildings while me and my wife were playing the game. Maybe she's seen those, and that's why she felt the need to put those there. Even her fence down here is pink. It's redwood. The redwood is pink. Fuck. I'm having a brain fart, man. I can't think. Got her campfire out here so that way she don't burn her house down. You know, fire safety. And then you come inside and, again, very open, nothing up there. Maybe she intends to leave room for expansion. Again, very big room. It does have what I would label dead air and dead space. But also, this is that future scaling I was talking about. Like, yeah, it's big, but and empty right now. She has room to put more floors here for more storage or more decoration. She just hasn't done it yet. A build, like, a house is never finished. You're constantly adding paintings, changing your furniture around, fixing things. Your lived-in space is alive. And so, although right now this is kind of empty, yeah, sure, picked a bad time to come in. But, you know, give her a couple more days. Maybe there'll be more floors and stuff in here, more decoration. Maybe she'll have chiseled more pieces to go on the wall. And so you see she has a painting up there for some ambience, some decoration, some culture. She's got a a canopy bed here. Still one of the grimier ones. Maybe could have used a texture flipper on it, but I myself don't even know how to use that. But it has some color variety. It does kind of clash with how bright everything else is, but it's not bad. And look, she chiseled herself some fucking flip-flops, man. She chiseled herself flip-flops, and she put them. That's awesome. I think these are the creative glow blocks, which is why they're so bright. But like, they're bright and colorful, and they kind of have that bluey color to them. And I think she watches some Minecraft YouTuber like Milo and Chip or something, and the little blue bird dude is this color. I think that's why she picked these. But blue is a water color, and flip-flops are kind of like water shoes. Like, you go to the beach with flip-flops more often than not. And so, or like down at the creek. And so yellow goes good with blue. They're complementary colors. So she even there is applying some color theory. Now, is she learning that color theory from other people who have designed characters using color theory? Maybe. But just because you're standing on the shoulders of giants doesn't mean you're not able to reach greater heights. Just acknowledge the giants that you're standing on is all. She's got herself a shield over here in the corner, again, using the red wood because she likes the pink. Redwood bookshelves, actual bookshelves. She had me chisel her a heart, which I gladly did. And then she asked me to do this, okay? She asked me. She didn't do it. It'd be awesome if she did. I'm sure if I gave her the chance, she could have done it. But she asked me to do it for her, so I did it. I remember 69 being the funny number, and this just kills me. This tickles me. I'm not going to be surprised if there's a drop-off in the viewership at this point, but come on, man. 6'7". This fucking kid. I can't believe she had me do that. She's so goofy. I love her. But yeah, that's the inside of this build. We'll go ahead and go to this one too. Just stick with it. I think she did this one next. She did this one next. And you can see she did with a different type of roof. She put a pool on the top of it. Lined it up with the large debarked logs. Mostly keeping them oriented the same way. Having a couple mishaps here. But she's trying. And I think she avoided the textured blocks and went with these solid facing creative glow blocks. Not just because they're bright and colorful, which appeals to her. But because also there's no orientation problems. The texture's the same on all sides. So there's no concerns. She tells me these are supposed to be blushing cheeks. Like when people get like rosy cheeks because like they like the crush or something or they're happy. And then this right here is a heart. And then right here, like she's done with, like, I guess because these are glow, this is mixing with the purple and making it pink. But that's kind of cool that you can see that light effect, how it goes from pink to purple and makes it, you know, back to the fuchsia. But that's a nice gradient. I like that trick. And then down here, it's not really doing it so much. So it's kind of weird that it's so effective on the purple and not so much the blue down here. But I digress. She also matched it with this piece of ground that was right here. Instead of cutting it out, she just put it on top. So there's a lesson in there. Sometimes building with the terrain instead of terraforming it flat and turning it into a parking lot can add some variety and spice and artistry to your build. It kind of gave this window an arch. If you were to look at it that way, this is an arching window as it continues to wrap around flat the rest of the way. So that's cool. I think it's neat that as a 6-year-old, she solved that problem that way. She knows she can break blocks and replace them. She's dug down and mined stuff. Like, she had to clear out other things. So it's interesting that she approached it that way. And then I think it's also cool that she did, like, this checkered pattern, which is kind of reminiscent of, like, the build tutorial videos you see in Minecraft where they lay out a grid first. So maybe she's seen some of those videos, and that's why she made the bottom that, not understanding that that's just a guide and not really the foundation of the building. But you come in here, again, very bright because of the light in the glow blocks. You can see, though, like, she just made, like, it doesn't look like there's any reason really for her to do that, except on the outside it looks like it's on that hill. Like, the rest of it's flat in here. So why did she do that? She just felt like it. And sometimes that's a good enough reason. Not very much room. You could put storage back here, but it is enough sleeping space for 6 people. And then up here is supposed to be like an attic that you can get access to. And I think this up here is really interesting because this is not like the main space. This is a secondary space. This is an attic. This is overflow. So she quite clearly like, oh, someone could sit here, yep, if they need to. But it's storage. And also you don't come up here often. You don't clean up here often. So now we have cobwebs. And I think she intended this to be a collection of firewood. Now, I didn't see a fire pit down there. So maybe that's some oversight on her part. But there is, like I didn't teach her anything about beams. She just found the beam, thought it was neat, and then started playing around with it and figured she could make a pile of logs by using the beam feature like that, by drawing them. And, like, that's awesome. Maybe I'm just tooting my own kid's horn too hard. Or maybe because I'm just so impressed because it's my kid or whatever. And, like, maybe this is very capable for 6-year-olds. I know there's 3-year-olds out there who are chess grandmasters. But as just dropping the kid into this game with her only real building experience being Minecraft and Legos, I think it's really neat seeing what she can do. Because, like, the beam thing is not in Minecraft. And you don't do this with Legos. So, like, that's just a really interesting insight in my opinion, both as a builder, as, you know, some kind of designer, and as a parent. And it's just, I think it's neat. And she's got some windows up here for some lighting. Of course, you don't need lighting because the whole building is made out of light blocks. So that's really funny. But that's it for this one. If I can get off the ladder. Where we at? Yeah, we'll do this one next. If I can find the door. Very bare bones on the outside. But again, like if this was an all brick house, I could see this being brick all the way. You might need some kind of difference in the gable. You can see she didn't differentiate the gable at all. It's straight all the way up. But you can see that in some buildings. The lack of windows is a little bit bothersome. So it'll be claustrophobic and probably stale air on the inside. But you can see she's got, what is this, purple heart doors with the red walls. So kind of applying the same logic where, you know, she's got the pink building over there behind us, and she had the red door on it. So the red is darker pink. And now she's got a red building, and she's got a darker purple door. So like the contrast, the hue is shifting over. And even with the purple door and then the red walls, again, they're all red. There's no windows or nothing. But she stuck with the red wood, but this time she used actual roof blocks. And she figured out that it needed to be on twos in order to get them to smack up against each other. So she didn't have to fuck with the ridge blocks or anything. Now, she didn't do any overhangs or chiseling or anything like I do, but she filled out the roof like it's a roof. And it's a pink light roof with a darker red wall and then an even darker red, which is purple, door. So, like, some of the logic that I myself naturally find using is being applied here. Like, things higher up are usually lighter. And then if you're going to have something lighter, then the next thing should be a little bit darker. And then your accents could be even darker than that. And you can invert that, make it negative. You can have a very dark top, a slightly lighter bottom, and then even lighter accents. It'll create a completely different feel. But you can see here, my 6-year-old is exploring that because she's mixing up her palette. You can quite clearly see her developing and growing as a builder just over a couple of hours of gameplay. In here is real interesting because it's very bare bones, but you can see she made this wall super busy. Has plenty of storage room. And I like the way she picked the cabinets that have the top and the bottom built into them and then stacked them because it creates this neat little, I don't know, this little joinery stuff going on where the legs of the bottom are sitting on the ornate chiseled stand of the top. And it just, I think it creates a neat little look. I think if you combine this with other different forms of the cabinets, some with doors, some without, maybe some different colors, you could probably create pretty interesting looking pieces of furniture to cover your walls. Like, this doesn't have to just be a bookshelf. You could put all kinds of stuff on there because it's cabinets, but this would look really interesting, I feel like. I do think that maybe we should put the lanterns in here instead of the torches since they burned out. But the whole building is light blocks. And again, we're running into this problem that you often see with builders is they don't pay enough attention to their ceiling. Now, maybe she's suspecting that there's enough going on at either end that the walls here don't need to be busy, but the floor is kind of dead space. And it's very white, very white. I would have appreciated some kind of rugs or something being put down, honey. That would have been just like some pelts or something, you know? But other than that, you've done really good. I like this building. And you got this decorative piece down here. These are the siren figureheads. She told me that it looks like they're sitting, and their chest looks like their knees, and then the arms are like holding hands. So like it's a bunch of people sitting down holding hands together, which is a cute thing. But then now the way this is built kind of looks like it's 4 people about to get squashed by like a hydraulic press. And then she's going to lay back here on her bed and watch it. So I don't know what the intent is, but it's very creative, very interesting. I mean, like it's just like it's an insight into how even a kid approaches occupying something. Like she knew something had to go there. She didn't know what to put there. And I'm sure she asked herself questions and looked at blocks and ultimately arrived at her solution by the answer she got. And so I think that's all the actual buildings. Now she dug this hole down here and I said, I want you to replace every stone block in here with something else. It was one of the first things she did. And she kept coming back. She didn't do it all at once. She kept coming back over and over again as she was doing these builds. So this has been her like background on the back burner project. And so while she was doing all that, she ultimately was working on this. And so she replaced it with a different gravel. And I think she liked the way that she likes that texture. Like it's a certain type of drywall or something. Like it's a very, like I know that's gravel. But if you frame stuff right, like there's wood on the bottom and you had some beams and stuff on it, that gravel block might not read as a gravel block. It might just read as a rather grainy wall. And so that could really mean anything to you. And you can have it, you see how she has a pull in here, mostly for fun. And she has some benches around the side. She has a little platform here to keep the wood from getting wet. She separates the water area from your dry space, and you can see she's got her flip-flops back down here again, so that way she can put them on whenever she gets out of the pool. Again, because she knows her movement mechanic is flying, she does not see a need for ladders or staircases, you know. So efficiency and function over just unnecessary bits and bobs. A ladder would be unnecessary, unless there's people who can't fly, in which case it becomes an accessibility and a navigability problem. But this corner, she's got wood, and like she even used the rope beam mechanic where like you can draw the rope with the creative rope blocks, and she put like a little bit of rope over here. Like, I don't know why you need rope. She said, I put rope. And then this is supposed to be firewood again. She's got different boards, different colored wood stacked up to be different firewoods. I think she liked the purple and she liked the pink and the white, and then was just messing around. But it ultimately looks like there's clutter. Now, is this all the clutter that I would put in here? Is this the same, like this kind of just repeating the same texture over and over again with a different color? Yeah, kind of. But there's variety to the floor space. It doesn't look boring. It's like, you know, maybe there's a mess. Maybe somebody's renovating. Maybe this is a woodcraft project. So the floor is a lot more interesting. She has tried more to keep the planks going the same direction, but you can see where it's not, like maybe the angle she was standing at just didn't let her do it. And she's a 6-year-old trying to handle a fully grown keyboard and mouse. So her tiny little hands are having trouble, but she's doing really good. I like her storage area over here. I like how she's framed this up with the trap doors to make it look like it's a shelf or a cabinet, or there's a shelf on top of it, but you can still easily access all of your trunks. And then I like this little bit of variety over here, like this is some kind of mosaic or tile or something, a little bit of art piece above the doorway. And then you go inside the doorway, and it's a very bare bones bathroom. She told me this is supposed to be a toilet. I don't know whose ass is this fat or who needs this much leg room, but, you know, maybe you need to set your drink on this side, and you guys set your tablet on that side while you do your business. I'm upset and a little bit concerned there's no toilet paper roll in here, though, honey. But other than that, this is a very efficient outhouse latrine bathroom space. And she did keep some stone, and I'm sure the stone is still here to hold up the ground above. And she felt like it just needed a little bit of nature. You can incorporate rocks and trees and stuff into your builds and have nature be a part of it. You see that in a lot of cultures. I mean, even tree houses, you build it around the tree. But like in Japan and stuff, you'll have trees built into walkways and paths and part of your garden, the whole Zen garden thing. So don't be afraid to leave hills and trees and stuff there and kind of work around them. Let those constraints shape your build, because the more stuff you have to curve and bend around, the more intricate and layered your build is going to be. It's not going to look like a cookie cutter. It's not going to look like it just plopped there, like it just grew out of thin air. It's going to look like it was accumulated, like it literally grew there over time. It wasn't just spawned out of nothing. But I had fun looking through this stuff. I hope that I was able to touch on some real lessons for you guys and teach y'all a little bit while showing off my daughter's creativity. I think it's so cool that she went from what she was doing in the beginning to all the way to these final pieces where she hasn't quite put them all together just yet, but you can see that like she is learning different aspects of the building and of the game as she's doing it. And so you as an adult or a teenager or, you know, an older kid, I don't really know who my audience is. It says a lot of y'all are adults. So, like, you should be able to quite clearly see improvement. It's all about just keeping with it. This is what a 6-year-old learns over, like, 4 or 5 hours of gaming, okay? You, gaming and doing this stuff and building in other games and seeing buildings and being able to, like, analyze stuff in a lot more depth than a 6-year-old. Like, you guys are unstoppable. You guys should be able to grow and develop and get better and better and better and just constantly disappoint yourselves because you've gotten so good at noticing what's wrong that you then have to work even harder to improve. And eventually, you'll be pleased with what you see. And everybody else will be even more pleased with what they see coming from you. So, like, just go with it, man. Just do whatever suits you. Like, you don't have to follow any rules. You don't have to follow my advice. Just build something. And if you don't like it, make it a little different. Carve at it, add stuff to it, change the color, change the shape, whatever you got to do, get it to a point where you're happy with it. And even if other people don't appreciate the effort into it, or it's not their aesthetic, or it's not their vibe, or they're not into it, fuck them, man. Build for you. It's yours. If you like it, that's all that matters. And if you like it, you should not be ashamed to share it. Other people will like it too. I can't imagine, I can't even begin to tell you, like, how cool it is to share something and to only have a couple people like it. Like, that might be discouraging for others. Like, oh man, I only got, 3 likes on this video. That's 3 other random people who have never seen your stuff before and decided, oh, that's really cool, and dropped you a like or left you a comment or at least looked at it. Like, that's, like, I only got 200 views. That's 200 people. Like, if I had 200 people standing in front of me looking at me do something, if I had 200 people behind me playing this game in my room right now, that would be incredible, right? I think modern social media has ruined everybody's scale of what you should be proud of. All right? Go make little Minecraft builds in your vintage story game because that's what you're familiar with. Go make everything bright, super vibrant colors. Go make everything really big, tall, and empty and massive because to you scale and volume and largeness are appealing. Go make something underground because you're a little cave goblin and you like dwarf stuff and you want it to be underground and not make it look medieval. Go build airships. Go build floating islands. Go do what you want to do, man. And then show me because I'd be really interested to see it. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I hope there's been something beneficial to this. I hope the Midwestern Goodbye got my point across, and I hope you guys had a good time looking at my daughter's stuff here. Honey, again, thank you so much for letting me show off your builds and not being too shy about it. You did really, really good work here. It's so awesome as your dad to watch you grow and develop, not only as an individual like in real life, but like as a little microcosm, a little bitty example, a tiny diorama here of you showing me you learning and getting more creative and more artistic and better. And I want you to keep doing that, honey. I can't wait for you to watch this video and hear how much I love you and how proud of you I am. And I hope everybody else here likes all your stuff and you get to see all the likes and the comments, and I hope it makes you feel good about yourself, because we shouldn't chase the validation of other people, but it is always nice to know that even just 1 or 2, 5, 10, up however many people, 100, 1,000, that anybody else besides you likes what you do. To be seen. Sometimes all it takes is one person to say, I see you, you're valid, and it makes the day more manageable. So honey, Vonna, love of my life, darling, you're seen, you're valid, you are such a sweet little girl, and I'm so excited to watch you grow into an amazing woman, and I know you're going to. You've got a great mother to learn from. Until next time, everybody else, I love you all. Not the same, but I love all of you. Stay alive, stay happy.